Music by the Code.
Hello, and welcome to Yes, That's My Kid podcast. I'm Asia, he's Anthony, and behind the scenes we have our producer, Jacob. On Yes, That's My Kid podcast, we talk about childhood development, parenthood, and the nuances of raising mixed children. Now listen, definitely not here to give you guys any advice. We are only here to share our opinions and express our stories in ways that feel relatable and truthful. So if you like what you hear, like, comment, subscribe, and share.
If you don't like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Share.
Share. So,
Yes.
Asia, how are you today? It's Friday again. How's
It is
everything going?
Friday.
Let's get it.
Boom, 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 boom. Hey. All right, I'm feeling good. Took a little sippy sip of this wine here. I know last time we talked, I had that vid, and I'm feeling better. Still a little congested and coughing that night, but
Yeah.
other than that, it was like my symptoms were really mild.
That's what's up.
I'm grateful, Lord looking out for me.
How the family doing? How the family doing now?
They're good. I mean, Autumn has a cough at night, which I don't know, it's been really, really sucky, but not bad. But we've been good, and she's been pretty joyful. Actually, this week, let me tell you.
Let's hear it.
So for about a week and a half, Autumn has been doing a crybaby on the ground. So if you guys don't know, that's a dance move, basically humping the ground, pretty much, right? And I was like, I thought nothing of it. I'm like, all right, cool, I guess. Like, kids do strange things. So I'm like, it's whatever. And I was just laughing at it and then sometimes she would look like she's actually just hugging the ground. She would just go down there, like lay, smile at me, and then get back up. But I was down there with her watching the videos because I told her she loves music. We keep it on the music channel for her.
Dope.
And Chloe Bailey's Lord Have Mercy, rewind. Chloe Bailey's Lord Have Mercy. That song that came on.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, she does the crybaby, and Autumn got down on the ground and did it. And I was like, oh snap.
Wow.
That's where she got it from.
So how do you feel about that?
I feel fine. So I told Michael too. Michael was like, oh no, should we be worried? And honestly, no, I don't think so. Like that, I used to do a whole bunch of dances, from music videos, Aaliyah, anyone you could think of, I Would Stay. I remember that channel, The Box or something like that.
Yeah.
Used to stay on videos. That was me.
Okay.
And actually, if you ever meet my mom,
that's kind of like the Vivo channel now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever meet my mom, there are two stories that she'll tell you if you talk about my childhood. One is Cisco's thong song video. So he had dances in there that I like I said, I used to perform. So I learned the dance. I performed it for my mom, and it was this move that he did this backflip thing, right? So here I go. I'm doing the whole thing full out. My mom is like, oh, and I did a little backflip thing, and she just lost her mind.
Snap.
So whenever she talks about my childhood, that's definitely one story that comes up.
Yeah. Hold on right quick before you continue. Funny thing about the thong song, I think I was like 6th grade when that came out. And so it's weird. So people talk me into getting on a dance team, right? It was after school program. It wasn't even a team. It was just after school program, right? So it was a thong song. That's what we was dancing to in the 6th grade. But I was the only dude. So it was just, it was a wild dance routine, and I was doing all Cisco parts. But that reminded me of the thong song. Joint was hilarious. It was only in 6th grade, and that's what we was doing. But continue.
No, so that's the one story, and the second story, which is kind of oh, Asia, you really about to tell that? But I don't really get that embarrassed about my life. So there comes a time, I think, in a woman's life.
Where's this going?
Where she wishes that her boobs were bigger, right?
Me too, actually. Me too.
Oh gosh. So I don't even know what age I was at this point, but my boobs started coming in, and I ran into the room and basically flashed my mom. I was like, "Look, Ma, look!"
Oh,
and she's like, "What? What are you doing?" I was like, "Look, Ma, look! They're growing."
Oh snap!
And she just started cracking up, and And she remembers that story still too. So
that is funny.
Yes. So how about yourself? What's your week been like?
My week, what has it been like? My week has been busy as heck at work. My week has been OD busy. Primarily work. I'll say 90% work, but then, we started with the Instagram on for Yes, That's My Kid, and a couple other cutting up clips and stuff like that. But primarily work. Work has been just crazy busy. Beginning of the year stuff. We got a lot of transition stuff going on. So that's basically where my time's been. And then, family stuff, just hanging out with the family and making sure I give my kids the appropriate amount of time and my wife the appropriate amount of time. I try not to give the best parts of me to work, and I give them what I got, but I give my family the best parts. But outside of that, it's been, you know what I'm saying? It's been regular week. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the topic today.
Shall we?
We shall.
Okay.
So today's topic is, when do you think you felt as though you were actually a parent? Was there a moment in which you actually felt like, wow, I'm a parent now?
Yes. Yes. All right. So for me, I think there were 3 moments. And I think that, I don't know, maybe more moments will happen, but 3 defining moments that I can think of thus far was the first night we stayed in the hospital. So Autumn was born about like 3 a.m. And that first night, Michael and I were, for some reason, I don't know if we were just trying to be like the golden parents or something, but we were so determined to like have her stay with us in the room the entire night. Like, babies tend to room in with their parents anyhow at hospitals now. They don't really just go straight to the nursery.
Right.
And I like that. I wanted her to be with me. Honestly, I don't be trusting these people. Babies get stolen all the time. You guys know, you've seen those Lifetime movies.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't play with that at all. That's your kid. You got to deal with everything that happens. You got to deal with it. So
and that's how we were trying to approach it. It's like, we're not going to have help at home. So like, let's just try to do it here. So, like I said, she was born like 3 a.m. and I didn't really even sleep much during that whole day. And then, so Michael was napping at one point, but he was like, hey, if you get tired, wake me up, right? Like, I'll take over. Boy, bless his heart, because there was no waking him up. And then I felt bad because like, I know he was tired. Like, I tried. I was like, Michael, like, I'm tired. Michael, I think it was like, I don't know, probably like 3 a.m, probably like a full 12 hours, like 3 a.m. right now. I'm like, Michael, and he's like, I'm like, damn.
Like, he just did all the work.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pushed her out.
Facts.
So I was like, okay, like, what do I do? Do I really sit here and just like force myself to stay awake and try to like tough it out, get her to be quiet? Or do I call the nurses to have them take her for a few hours? So like, at that moment, I was like, this is a real decision for me. Like, this is probably one of the first decisions I had to make with her as her alive. Like for all of our well-being, like, I have to get some rest. She has to get some rest. So I was like, you know what? Let me just call the nurse in for a couple of hours. And so the nurse came in, and I was like, I mean, I felt like it was a great decision, but at that moment I was like, I'm going to need some help throughout this journey. And this is the first moment that I realized, like, Asia, don't try to be the hero. Like, stop being foolish. Like, take the help when you need the help. Ask for help. That's more important. Ask for help when you need the help. So I think that was like a great lesson early on. The other 2 moments, I think, are both moments in stillness. So one is like maybe around month 2, and I was just staring at her. And I mean, like I said before, like, babies don't really do much, but one thing they do is stare back at you. And for some reason, I just felt like, dang, like, you are really trusting me, like, with your life.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just staring. I'm like, we did this. Like, you are a whole person. Like, you grew inside of me. You're here, and you're staring back at me as if like just really unconditional love, and with all the hope and wonder in your heart and your eyes. And it's like, I owe you the world. I owe you everything. Like, whatever I can give, like, I have to do it as your parent. And it seems like, I don't know, in that moment, I just felt like, it seems weird just saying it right now. It seemed like, Asia, what are you talking about? But in that moment, just staring at her and her staring back at me, it's almost like unspoken that there's a contract, almost like an agreement here.
100%. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's
I don't know. 100%. Yeah.
It's just like an unwritten contract. It's just something that's not written, that can't really be expressed, or not a legal document, but it really is like an exchange of essentially like, mommy, I'm yours. Like, this is, I'm yours. Yeah.
Right. It was really like that. It's like, I'm trusting you with my life. And I'm like, dang, girl, you are. Like, I was having a conversation in my head. It's like,
that's beautiful.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
And then the second time is when she started to become more active, moving around. So probably, I'll say maybe around very close to a year, I would say, because now she's starting to figure things out. And it was really one of those moments of her messing around with like the blocks and her toys and trying to figure out like, the triangle actually goes into the triangle space. Like I didn't like help her at all. I was just really allowing her to learn her like by herself. And I was like, I don't know. I felt like it was such a parent moment. I felt proud that like she would get something, she would turn back at me, and I'm like, yes, you did it. Like you did that all by yourself. Like watching her learn things for the very first time is like, I'm really someone's parent. Like someone did this to me, but I'm really watching a whole human being just grow in front of my eyes, like in every aspect. Like you're grown in length and height. Like you have teeth now. Like you had nothing. You just gums. Like you had like barely any eyebrows. You have eyebrows and you're learning things. Like it's crazy to me.
Now I fully understand that sentiment. Going back to what you said before around you feeling like, you said you came to the realization that you didn't have to do everything. Like you didn't have to be. I think that my wife and I, we internalize that because like we spoke about before, I just happen to be accountable for everything. Like that's just how I feel, because that's just what it is, right? With my life, how I've grown up, etc. So I just have an accountability with everything. Same, and with my wife, it's pretty much the reality is she's kind of been like the strong one in her family. So and she doesn't like asking for help at all. So literally, I can honestly say maybe on a handful of times, we could probably count on less than 2 hands how many times we've asked somebody to watch our kids. So we actually hadn't gone on a date for breakfast, because we used to always do breakfast a lot. So we didn't go on breakfast for 3.5 years. With just her and I. Yeah. We didn't go on breakfast until my daughter started at pre-K 3.
Wow.
And because we never really let
anyone watch her.
Right. And it wasn't due to lack of trust. It was just because that's just how we felt about our stuff. She was ours. But going back to the original question about when I felt like a parent, it was a couple times similar to you. Definitely when she was born, and it was probably like, I don't know, 2:00 in the morning. She was just laying on my chest, and I was like, "Yo, like she's here, like she's actually here." And then the other time was when we were leaving the hospital. That was a crazy realization, because I was like looking around and stuff. I was like, oh snap! Like y'all know, you got a manual? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all just let me leave here. Honestly, they don't really say much to you when you're leaving. Like you just exit. And I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, like, for sure. And then so for me, it was like, I'm leaving. There's no manual, and then I got to go home. And I got to make sure this kid isn't crying a lot. I got to make sure that, all right, so how often are you supposed to eat? Oh, I don't even know, because it's the first time, right? Like all these things. Oh, yeah, I got to check your diaper. Oh, yeah, I'm not even, oh, you look like you dry, but you're a female, so I don't really know how that works. Like, it's different. You know what I mean? Even with my son, like he peed and he splashed me. And I was like, oh, I forgot you. I was like, I forgot you do that, because I'm used to having a daughter. But I mean, yeah, so that was definitely one time when we were leaving the hospital. That was like a serious time when it was just like, wow, I'm taking you home, and we both have to take care of you, make sure you survive.
Right.
And then another time was when I was out with my guys, and a couple of my guys, you know, they're single, whatever. And they
watch
said,
them. No, just kidding.
Right. And then they said, you know what I'm saying, guys, they do guy stuff. And they said something like, yo, look. And then I looked at them. I looked at the chick they were talking about, and I looked at them. I said, yo, that's somebody's daughter. They were disgusted. They was like, yo, bring this dude home, man. It was like, get him out of here.
Nah, who brought the married guy with the kid?
Yo, that's exactly what it was. I was like, bro, that's somebody's daughter. What you talking about? Yo, they were disgusted. They were like, get him out of here.
Oh my goodness. Goodness.
And then another time was when was her first day at school, because I was like, and her first day at school was pre-K 3. And that was also the first time my wife and I had gone like out for breakfast in 3.5 years. So So when we dropped her off, I was like, oh snap! Like we really like parents. Like we got a whole kid like
that you're dropping off to school.
Yeah, dropping off to school, and it's just like the realization. Not even realization. It's like a surreal moment of like, when did I become this? Like,
right.
and I think in a lot of people's head, like you see yourselves as whatever age you see yourselves at, 18, 21, 25, you still see yourself, even though you're not that age, obviously. But it's just, it was so surreal just dropping her off and then walking away. And I'm just like, so.
It's drop off like it is in the movies because I haven't had to do it yet. And I mean, school is not the same as it. Actually, I never got dropped off at school. I'm talking about on that bus. Right. I was on the corner on a bus.
What you lying for?
Right. So, like, is it like, the little semicircle and everybody's like in line with their vehicles and just like, bye. And people honk, hurry up, get out of the way.
So when that's silly, yo.
That's what they do in movies.
That is how they do it too. When we dropped my daughter off, we both went in there and we said bye to her. And she didn't really want to go because she was so used to being around us all the time. Because obviously she's first time starting like a school curriculum type of thing. So she didn't want to leave, but she ended up leaving, and it was tough. I thought I was gonna like throw up and start crying. I was like, man,
not throw
school.
up.
Just come on, yeah, yo, bruh. I don't know how to manage my emotions at times. So okay. I just felt sick. But to your point, it is like her school now. It's a big public school, and it is like that. Like it's a whole line of cars. It's crazy how early cars get there, but yeah, it's a whole line of cars, and people just like, come on, because there's cars behind us and stuff like that. So I'll be telling my daughter, but we be like, you're going to pull in the parking lot, but take a seat, but off. All right, put your mask on. All right, put your backpack on. So that way when the door open up, you can just get out.
Just get out.
Yeah, because it'd be crazy though.
Oh goodness, a rush.
So then the second part of that question, right? The second part of when you felt like a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second part is, do you remember a time in which your mother kind of expressed like, oh wow, you're like a mom, or did she specifically say that, or did she say, were her actions like indicating that, oh wow, she actually respects me as a mom and respects my authority in dealing with my daughter and stuff? Your mother or your mother-in-law?
I talk about my mom.
Gulp.
I gulp. Oh shit, sorry.
Yikes.
No,
silly.
So all right, so my mom, I was making a face before because my mom is really a clown. Like, she's really a clown. So, what she does sometimes is just like, "Mom, you're so ridiculous." So, I think one moment where she realized that I was a mom and that I was doing things differently than she had is when I was breastfeeding, and on the couch. I'm so sorry because this is so stupid. On the couch, she was like, "Were your nipples always that big?" I'm like,
that's funny.
I was like, "Ma," like, she said, "I'm just saying, like, they just," and she just goes to them. She just goes and drinks. That's it. Yeah. It's just like that. She just latches on. I'm like, "Yeah, Ma, like day one, she was doing this. Like as soon as she was out, like, yeah, this is her thing." Like, she's like, "Oh, okay.
This is her thing."
Like she has to eat.
Yeah. That's funny. Why did your mom not breastfeed?
No, I guess not. Not her asking those silly ass questions. Like, what do you want?
That's funny.
Like, and then she was like, actually, recently, this week, she was like, "Oh, you're not breastfeeding anymore because your breasts look like they have gone down." So I'm like, "So you basically saying I have sag and bag and berries? Like, you're not respecting me right now." But as far so for your second question, as far as her respecting me and my like choices, I guess as a mom,
yeah,
I think that she always had. My mom and I kind of have a relationship. Like, she knows when I say something I mean, and she doesn't really want to argue with me. And I tend to have a role in my immediate family as like I'm the second mom, and I'm even a mom to my mom. Like I have that authority there, and only because I've always been the most responsible. And literally, I'm like all of their assistants. Like I have all of their codes, bank accounts, like all of it. I do so much for all of them. So pretty much like when I say something in an authoritative tone, I guess they just listen. So if I say something in regards to like what I think should be happening with Autumn. She tends to listen. Except when it comes to food. She likes bribing her with food. And I'm okay with that. Like, do what you gotta do, bond. Like, you have to have your own relationship. And I want you to. But as far as like the diapers we use when we want her fed, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she, for the most part, yeah, she listens. And it's never been an argument or a problem.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there was like a specific time in which like I was like, oh wow, my mother or my mother-in-law actually like respects the authority of my wife or myself. I gotta say, like I've been super blessed with my in-laws as well as my mother and stuff and my parents. Because there's never been a time in which my mother, and this goes back to kind of the conversation we had before with accountability and kind of my mother just giving me the opportunity to learn like in general, just in life growing up. So she was kind of along the lines of, you know, you got to live your life and whatever you do is only going to affect you. So she understands that I kind of have the accountability, right?
Right.
To understand that whatever's going to happen, whatever I'm going to do is going to affect my child and all these things.
Yeah.
So I think I've been really fortunate. There's never been an issue of like boundaries or anything like that. She's totally respected my wife and I's decision for everything, especially my wife's decision. And even with my mother-in-law, same thing. I personally thought it was going to be because my wife's culture, they have a lot more reverence, at least than I do for their parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be a lot more involvement, I should say, in terms of what to do with the kids and whatnot. But even that has been amazing. Like her mother lets her parent and lets us parent.
Yeah.
So I can't say it's really been a specific moment. I just think that overall, collectively, they've always shown us like the respect of being the authority in our kids' lives. Like they're never going behind our back and was like, oh yeah, they can't. I know your dad said you can't have this, but here I'm gonna give you something. Yeah, I would have lost it if that was the case.
Definitely.
What? What? Don't do that
at all. And let me say, actually, I'm going. I know I was like, I'll talk to my mom, but I want to be fair to my mother-in-law too. Like I don't want there to be the impression that she's like some evil mother-in-law. She's not, and she definitely respects our wishes and boundaries. But I think there is one thing that happens that I don't care for. And I think it's because Autumn isn't the firstborn grandchild for her. Whereas like for my mom, Autumn is the first and only grandchild at this moment for my mother. So like, she's just like the world, like this is her baby too. Like she's loving it like right now. And for my mother-in-law, I think Autumn is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th grandchild for her. And so she doesn't give her opinion too much on what we do in our lives, and with Autumn, I think she respects that we're doing things pretty well for ourselves. I think so. I think that she would agree. So she doesn't have too much to say, but there are moments unsolicited where she will compare Autumn to the older grandchildren. And I hate it so much. It's just like, oh, this is what his sibling did with their kids, and this is what this other kid was doing at this moment. Is like, but Autumn is Autumn,
sure,
and she's not them, and we are who we are, and we are not the siblings. So I don't really like the comparisons, because it's like, I'm not saying I won't ask them for any advice, because I think his sister is very smart and has like given us some good advice on things, but that's if we go to them, if we want to go to them for something, like allow us to. I don't like it when it's just always like a comparison game.
Sure.
And like automatically it's like, oh, this was what was happening with this kid at this time. It's like we don't have to follow that same path. Like we're parenting how we want to parent our child.
For sure. Yeah, I think that could just be like a subconscious thing that people just do automatically. I mean, I remember one of my homies was asking me before he even had a kid about comparenting, and that's just when you compare your kid to other kids. And I think that was something that I was doing early on in terms of, oh, your kid's walking already? Oh, okay. Yeah. My kid kind of walking too. Even though that wasn't the case. Oh, your kid's already talking. Okay, my kid been talking. Like, what you talking about? But so I think that is just kind of like part of it though.
Yeah, I think it's normal to just like help relate. Like people tend to do that, like to develop a relationship or bond experience. You try to have a relatable story. So I think that happens sometimes. It's like, oh, this is not what we were doing over here. But as far as her relationship with Autumn, I think is great. Like she definitely talks to her, reads to her. That's Autumn awesome. Doesn't have words, but she has like her own type of conversations with her. And she talks about like, oh, you know what, soon we're going to be doing these things. Like when you're a little bit older, we'll be baking together, cooking together rather. And I think that's amazing for them to have.
That's a beautiful thing. That is amazing. My next question is, you mentioned
full of questions today.
You know what I'm saying? They just rattling off though.
All right.
So you mentioned that you kind of talked to your husband's sister in regards to certain things with regards to parenting, because she's knowledgeable about certain things.
Yeah.
Would you say if is there one specific person you actually go to for parenting advice? Because for me personally, I don't necessarily. No. Yeah, same here. I don't go to anybody parenting advice.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And honestly, like if I'm being honest, when I say go to his sister, it's him asking his sister, and I'll be like, okay. Yeah. Or sometimes I'm like, oh, did you ask her? And I think it's more so because I know like that's the relationship that they have. They are very close to his siblings. They talk every day, like literally every single day. So I know that he has these conversations with them regardless. So if something's going on, I'm like, oh, maybe ask if this happened with one of her kids, because she has 3. But honestly, I don't. I talk to you guys. I talk to you and Jake. Like that's it. Like I have one other close friend with a kid, but her daughter's older at this point. So I don't really ask her like baby questions, but like right now, like this is their circle with kids the same age as my daughter. Yeah. Oh, actually, and a little shout out to my friend Genesis. We be talking about things because her baby's like 6 months, so we talk about things too. But other than that, I don't really have a huge group of friends with kids that are around my age, or around Autumn's age, rather.
Yeah. I think I can agree with that to a degree. I mean, I definitely talk to you and Jake, obviously, and then my boy George, I definitely speak on. We connect on a lot of like different levels of parenting and being a husband and things like that, along that nature. So we definitely connect on things, and I think we more or less it has to be a level of respect that you have for the person in order to even listen to their advice necessarily. Definitely. And it's not even necessarily advice; it's just it could be an opinion or a thought, but there's definitely got to be a level of reverence or respect you have for them and what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
With their children, absolutely,
100%.
Because I honestly hate unsolicited advice. I'm sorry, I don't care for it, because if I would not go to you, that means like, well, I just don't care for your opinion when it comes to this subject. And it could be for many reasons, but one of them may be like, I don't care for what you're doing with like your children, for sure, what you have done. Like, I don't need none of that advice. Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Nah, I feel you. So my sister, my second oldest sister, has like 5 girls. And I definitely go to her just to get her thoughts on things. I never really ask her what to do, like in a scenario or the situation. But just because she has 5 girls and they're all like a good range of ages, she has one that's like 16. Then she has her 5th one is like 3. So she has a good range. So she's gone through like a lot of the stages of that my daughter's going to go through. So I ask her, and her second youngest one is like 10, right? Yeah. So she's gone through my daughter's age 4 times. So I'm like, that's a fair amount of experience and advice, especially when it's like a girl. Yeah. I have no idea when it comes to girls, when it comes to feelings, when it comes to girl dynamics. Yeah. There's such a difference in like girls and their friends and stuff and how they interact. We had a situation that when my daughter was at school, and I was like, just talk to your mother. I'm like, I'm not, because I'm gonna say something and it's probably not gonna work because I know the girl dynamics are different. Like, basically, how it was explained to me is like a group of girls can be friends, but then there can be like a mean girl in that same group of girls. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand that, because as a kid, like for boys, it was like, if that ever happened, they'd be like, man, get out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Versus, so I'm like, you know what? I don't understand this dynamic, so I'm gonna let it go. And I'm gonna defer to your mother on this, because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing and be insensitive, whatever. And also I read books. One of the best books, 2 books that I've read was Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and Brave Not Perfect. And that helped put the strong fathers for strong daughters was more so like parenting perspective, and helped me with just understanding things as a parent of a daughter. Whereas Brave Not Strong was written by a woman and was more so for a woman to understand, but it helped me understand some of the faults, not the faults, some of the things my daughter may encounter as she gets older. And I could say faults, actually, some of the societal faults that will she'll be implemented in for no fault of her own, but just because of society, So I definitely use the books as reference.
Yeah, I haven't read too many books yet. I definitely read a lot of books, or that's a lie. Don't let me say a lot of books. I read like a book or two prior to the birth of my daughter because I was interested in having an unmedicated birth. So I did read a couple of those books regarding that, and then read a book on sleep patterns and try to make sure that she can sleep on her own. But I also honestly got a lot of information from Instagram for sleeping mechanisms, but also for just how you should parent your child, like to conscious parents, I guess is what this like little movement is called. I follow this Instagram, I think it's called The Mom Psychologist, and there's this other guy, I think it's like Mr. Chaz, I believe he was a teacher. Just like being super aware of like what you say important to your child and how it affects them, and just trying to back away from the words and the ways that we were brought up, like kind of like a do as I say, not as I do situation, like moving away from that, and actually having conversations with your child to figure out, what may be going on, instead of just saying like, just do whatever I say, just do, and not explaining why you're telling them to do something. So I do follow those type of accounts just to be like, okay, like, I mean, I think she's a psychologist, so like, what are the psychologists saying? Like, what's actually working for other people? So I do that.
Yeah. I wasn't, so I referenced some like YouTube and podcast information, but I don't know. I just felt like it didn't necessarily resonate. I felt like people were saying things that they were saying because they sounded good. You know what I mean? But they weren't actually practicing them. Because I feel like my wife and I have a good amount of like patience and understanding. And some of the stuff that I would hear, I'm just like, y'all not practicing this because I know this don't work. And I know you don't got patience to deal with what you're doing because they're not going to respond how you want them to respond based on what you're saying you practice. So that's why I was kind of iffy about that type of stuff. So for me, it was just more so I looked less for like advice literature and stuff like that, and more just for understanding kids and specifically like women and girls, because I'm lost when it comes to girls, like raising girls. I can only do what I can do and just love her to death and try to understand certain things without being insensitive to specific situations and stuff.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, when it comes to books, I haven't searched for many yet, but when it comes to the point where I feel like I want to rely on books, I think it'll be a little hard, or maybe it won't. But I am interested in experiences of those who look like me, aka Black people. So I would want to hope, or I hope that there are books on the market that are true to what the experience that I hope to have, or experience that I'm just truly interested in. Like I don't really like what's on the New York best. What is it? New York best time seller list? What I'm saying?
Oh, you combine
New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah,
New York Times bestseller list. I'm asking you. Because sometimes books just be on there, but it's like a whole bunch of white authors, and it's like I can't truly relate.
I was just stalling while you were saying that because I was trying to figure out what exactly was the correct way of saying it. So I was trying to knock
so you didn't know either.
No, I didn't. I think it's New York Times bestseller list.
New York Times bestseller list.
You don't even know what it is. That's crazy. That's just real crazy. What is it again?
What is it? No. But I think so. Sometimes books just end up on there, and it's like
facts. Yeah.
I don't know how you got there. I guess it's good.
I guess a lot of people got it for some reason.
I guess it ain't really hitting like it's supposed to.
Nah, that's
not with me, at least. If you feel that you have a story to tell where you it hit you that you were a parent, definitely share in the comments. We would like to hear from you. We would like to interact with you. And we are truly trying to develop a little community
for sure
of our listeners and with our listeners to engage with you and find out what you're like. And hopefully you're learning a little bit more about us. And
definitely.
Also tag us at Yes, That's My Kid.
To Asia's point, we are super interested in just hearing other thoughts. Like I said, I like to look at different resources in terms of like reading and specifically my sister and stuff, but I do like to read and understand some different experiences because, we've only gone through certain stages.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest child is only 6. And
Autumn's only 1.
Yeah, Autumn's 1. And then I just got a 9-month-old boy. So there's kids in different stages, and I am certainly open to hearing other experiences as Asia is and other encounters and all that stuff. So, dad joke for the day.
Yes.
How do you make a Kleenex dance?
Sneeze, bitch, get out the way.
That's actually pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie. That's actually a pretty good one. That's actually a good one. I don't know if you could put that in the dad joke. You said, sneeze, bitch, get out the way.
I know.
That's actually pretty fire. That's good. It's actually, you put a little boogie in it.
Actually, that's a good one. I like that one.
That is good, right?
I like that one.
That was actually pretty fire.
But
sneeze, bitch, get out the way is good, though. All right, everybody. This is Yes, That's My Kid. Checking
podcast,
out. Yes. Please like, subscribe, and share. Yes, That's My Kid on Instagram.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yes. What?
You know how people point in the corners of the video? Yeah. I don't know if we're going to have things up. But I'm pointing just in case.
This is stupid. That's silly. All right, guys. This is Yes, That's My Kid podcast. Signing out. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks a lot.
Bye.